Warm namaste from Vivek Pandit, and this is the Machine Talks. Today we have our guest Sunny Raj Shrestha, and today we'll be discussing on exploring mechatronics engineering, robotics aspects that with respect to human and machine interface. Our guest Sunny, he is a profound mechatronics engineer. He has done his bachelor's from Northampton University, and he has also been a research candidate in University of Tokyo, followed by his research in Asian Institute of Technology. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey everyone, Vivek, it's an honor for calling me here and to share my portion of to tell my story. Basically, I'm Sunny, so I come from Nepal. I did my computer engineering from Northampton University, as Vivek already pointed it out. After that, I went on to do my mechatronics engineering master's in mechatronics at AIT, Asian Institute of Technology. Then I was also a research student at the University of Tokyo to conduct my brain-machine interface-based robot thesis.
Sure. So before getting started, I want to know your perspective on this robotics thing. How a boy from Nepal, from Nepal, and the journey of the
Yeah.
shift from computer science to mechatronics, how it all started. Can you just give us a walkthrough?
Okay. Basically, robotics has always been inculcated into my bloodstream since childhood, like from just a mere fantasy or maybe a childhood, hobby into robotics. You get influenced by a lot of things. Particularly, there was when I was very little. They used to have this rerun of a very old show called Small Wonder. It's basically about a robot child in the house, and there's this robotic engineer. I'm talking about like what almost 25 years ago. So that back then I was just a kid and still robotics, and there's this character being a robotics engineer, and has a child and is putting it out in the world, and teaching it how to behave in the world and stuff like that. And it was very amusing for me. And then so when you grow up, you tend to do what's more practical in your life. So I took the most practical approach and did my computer engineering, as it kind of is like a more like a trend these days. Everyone is into computer engineering. So the shift was very, I would say, yeah, it was kind of drastic because all I was doing was making softwares and you know uh, coding, programming, and doing stuffs that I can see in my phone or my computer. But that never gave me such like a kick when I could actually see the same. I could compare it with when I would program a real life hardware. Seeing the motors move, seeing the bodies of a robot moving, playing, speaking. And you're just on your computer doing that. So that gave me a giant kick. And then I thought of pursuing my childhood dream of become a robotics engineer. So that was my main
It's a
shift.
long journey though. So one question that
Yeah.
arises in my mind, these you have got experience from multiple universities from different
Mhm.
countries. So how
Yeah.
does it affect the perspective of how we think in terms of education?
Y- are you trying to insinuate like
Like you
what we're
have done your
studying in Nepal?
yes, from a Nepali perspective, you have done
Yeah.
your bachelor's from Nepal, then you switch to Thailand, then you switch to Japan. And does
Mhm.
this switching change the thinking perspective, like gives a horizon on in terms of robotical thinking?
Definitely, go to move to a different country, there's definitely you learn so many things about their culture, their way of thinking, especially with the technology like robotics, as you mentioned. The best that I ever saw when I was in Nepal was uh, when I was in the Robotics Association of Nepal. This uh, so when I went there, it was quite new and fascinating for me. I think it's still in Nepal. I think the best projects or best ventures for robotics is still at RAN. I think
Yes, yes,
you're
yes.
also part of RAN, so So when you make a shift to other countries, even like in Thailand, they're doing so much in robotics right now, especially in the industrial sector. So they manufacture their own robots, and basically for them, it's more into the automation part, like the PLC, that kind of things. For Japan, when I went there firsthand and saw, they're already moving to ROS, using ROS operating system, robotics operating system, and they're doing mostly computer vision and that kind of projects are a lot. And especially in Japan, what was very like a cultural shock for me was seeing robots as like a part of their society.
Mhm, mhm.
They're living with robots and as an emotional support also, and that's something we barely get to see. There was actually a lab at University of Tokyo that's focused on the emotional robots in the society and how it's gonna be part of the society. So it was a very shift as you said that I saw firsthand.
I see, like you have worked on multiple projects, like way more projects than the average will do. So you have worked with working with CubeSats and model rocketing. So can you just have
Yeah.
a grasp of what was it?
So from back in 2020, back in 2020, I met this group of amazing talent from Nepal. Which was led by this my very good friend Mohan Taman. So it was called Garuda rocket. So it was the first time ever that a Nepali team was selected for that competition. The name of the competition was Spaceport America 2021. So we got selected, and so for that project, had a very good mix of mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering students. And so, besides the pure raw mechanical propulsion system design, so I also got to be part of the electronics, the computer, the onboard computer on the flight, and the simulations, and all those amazing hands-on projects, like very practical, very real, and besides our college curriculum. So it was very interesting. We did manage to get a consolation prize for it, and I think we're almost there for that kind of technology, and we're no less than any other countries. And if we just have the right mindset, group of people coming together, and even rocket science is very possible in Nepal. And CubeSat, as you mentioned, it's like a it's like a going parallelly with the rocket technology. It's basically part of space tech. So I have this very nice gentleman, Mr. Pradipta Shrestha. So it's like my elder brother. So he was the advisor for Garuda, Team Garuda. He's based in USA. So his main interest was in is sorry his main interest is in CubeSat. It's always been CubeSats for him. So me and him we're working things out for Cube satellites as well. So it's basically relevantly new, but most of the colleges and undergrad students from all over the world, they have their own CubeSats. So I want to have at least a CubeSat, a very well designed and very nicely launching a nice CubeSat satellite even in Nepal. So that's my next goal on the list.
Okay. That's a big thing. Like as a student, the horizon and the perspective of thinking it gives, and the challenges also. That's
Yeah.
very very fun. And one more thing that's coming in my mind is like you have worked with machine interface, that too with respect to brain waves and signals.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I saw your project on your master's thesis, like you're controlling the two
Yeah.
degree of freedom robotic arm or manipulated
Yeah.
with your
Yeah.
brain signals. So how does that work?
Okay, so the very interesting thing is that when I was to do my master thesis, okay, so at AIT in Thailand, so our mechatronics lab, it usually specializes in the control of robots, balancing robots,
Control systems,
manipulator robots.
engineering method.
Yeah, control. Yeah, basically controls. So when my professor, Professor Maniket Pranishkun, he asked me, Sunny, what do you want to do? And my mind was already fixed, kind of fixated on this brain-machine interface robots. Uh, I actually talked to him about it, and since I was joining Miss Dr. Wenwen's lab at the University of Tokyo as her student, research student, I was already focused on doing something on BCI. So when I told him, and he said, "Okay, you can do it, but it has to be novel. It has to be a control element into it." So when I did that, I went into the research, went to the University of Tokyo. I told them what my plan was, and they were super supportive of it. And everyone kind of gave me this idea where, usually in this brain machine interface, or let's just call it BCI tech, it's usually about how you just wear an EEG headset, and you need to do the filtering, classification, feature extraction, and do all those signal process. Basically, you do the signal processing of those stuffs, and you just analyze how well something is predominant on the user. So it was kind of very novel for our lab to be integrating into that domain, so it was quite a challenge, to be honest. A little bit of madness, I would say, really. But the thing is, when things come together, I got to learn so much about signal processing at University of Tokyo under my Dr. Wen. She was an expert in doing that, so she taught me everything and about signal processing and everything about robotics, you know, from my professor Manikit from Thailand. So I had to bring this two together, and it was quite a challenge also because mostly the BCI tech is usually, they have two types. There are three or four ways to say it, but to keep it very superficial and simple, there are two ways you can do it. You either make a program on the screen where certain icons are there on the screen, and you make a flicker at some frequency on the screen for those specific icons. So if I'm the one who's wearing an EEG headset, all I have to do is I need to focus on the icon that's my interest to pick. So when I'm doing that, and when I'm seeing the flicker on the screen, it kind of gets a signal called P300, and so basically that icon gets selected, and that's how you classify what the user intends to do with that, how the user communicates with the computer or device. You know, the most practical ones are like on wheelchairs. You select forward, backwards, left, right. And the wheelchair just takes you there. So those are like absolute binary decisions. It's just zero or one, true or false. So there's nothing in the middle. So we have a concept in control called fuzzy. So I think you're quite, if someone's into doing controls, they know about fuzzy. So my main task was to, on top of that, and the second type of BCI is purely imagining movements. It's called the motor imagery.
Motor?
So basically, motor imagery.
Okay.
So there are two types of ways you can do it. One is with the evoked state. It's like a steady state evoked potential. It's basically you're basically seeing the screen and you're focusing on the flickering of lights on specific icons, and that or the flickering happens at certain frequency. So when you're focused and when they match the flickering at 300 milliseconds, you get something called the P300 signal. Okay, so when that gets detected, you already need to do the classification feature extraction on in real time, and you have to classify. Okay, the user is intending to do selecting this icon. So the second one on that is the motor imagery. That's what I did. It's basically imagining movements when we are imagining motor movements specifically. When we're moving our limbs, we're walking. A certain part of our brain, like the right hemisphere, mostly it's where the motor activities usually happen. Okay, so when you need to tap into that signal, and you need to classify that in real time. And classification, as I told you, is basically just binary 0 1, or it's true or false. It's either go left, go forward, go backward. There's nothing in the middle. So my main task was to control the robot hands to be not just up and down, or left or right. It needs to have certain control of the user. So that's what I did.
So,
I was partially successful in doing that. So if anyone's interested, I have the thesis report, and if anyone wants to read it.
so one more thing that just coming in my mind is like you just said the flickering now in the screen, and you have not taken that approach as of now.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm able to catch you correctly, then you are saying like you think what the manipulator should do and it will do,
Yeah.
and it should be like you are thinking just go up, then it should go up. So
So
what?
basically, yeah, it's kind of confusing. Basically, we've not achieved that level of accuracy when I'm actually, when we're thinking about moving our limbs, we don't need to think or imagine anything, right?
Yes, yes.
So for the motor imagery part of motor imagery research, basically, what you're actually doing is you are imagining. First of all, you have to train yourself. So the programmers, when you program this kind of motor imagery based tech, what we first need to do is that you need to have a very simple, very simply animated 2D icons. It can be like a left arrow, right arrow, moving in that direction.
Mhm.
So if someone's good at it, they can just imagine in their mind that there's a left arrow that's going the left direction, and if there's a right arrow that's going the right direction in the right direction. So every time you train the system, the imagination needs to be very quite
On that
simple to replicate in your
specific.
own head.
Okay.
Yeah, so I cannot be imagining some very elaborate and very complicated things in my mind. So it would be super difficult to classify that
Okay.
and to use that every time. So uh, so when you're doing talking about motor imagery, it's basically about it's a combination of three kinds of signal, or three kinds of I would say brain activity. So it's basically we have alpha, beta, and theta, those signals. So what we want to do is that when we're imagining motor imagery tasks, we're doing is we need to have the focus on the thing that we're imagining. and the second is the second is the recall memory, that needs to be activated because you are definitely using the same you have to use the same
Mhm.
imagination that you're training the robot and you're training yourself as also. It's very ironic actually. So and the third one is the active thinking, when these three are put together, you are getting a certain task to be executed.
Mhm. So, like, I see, like it's not as easy as we think. There are so much of
Mhm.
complications and complexities there. How do you
Yeah,
overcome them? Like, I guess while working in this project, you may have, like, you might have faced lots and lots of issues. So, how do you see, like,
yeah.
as this, if I'm not wrong, this thing is not in the market, like, predominantly, but how do you tackle
Mhm.
those when you have very, very less resources on your research thing?
Oh, well, I would say I was very lucky
Mhm.
for the funding of this kind of project. As a master's student, I was very lucky to have super supportive professors who just gave me all the resources and everything for the project. So I didn't need to think about that at all. Uh, and about when tackling such a complicated project, what I did was, yeah, it was very, actually, to be honest, it was very overwhelming, and I didn't know the head and tail of it, like how I'm gonna do it, and constantly talking to your professor is the most important. Like it sounds very simple, but it's the most important part of being a research student. So the professors, they are an expert on their fields, and they know, where you can, like, otherwise, if I was left alone to do my own thing, like I'll make a robot that works with a brain, as like I would be totally lost. So the talking to your professors, supervisors, they give you a certain direction, like they give you the guidance to go in which direction what you should be doing. Then when you're trying to make that work, you need to take you're taking small steps is the it's a very good way to start, is uh, start small, do little bits of everything, and then play big, I would say.
Okay, okay. And how much money it costs, like financially, if someone is trying to build, then how much he or she can plan for?
Well, basically, if you're talking about BCI, right, it's I would say if someone is super collaborative, some people come up. You can start with NPRS 1 lakh for the EEG headset itself, and then with the subscription of that company,
Mhm.
the monthly subscription to get to get the EEG data and stuff, to record the EEG data and stuff, and they have their own subscription stuffs going on there. And if you analyze, and you can just communicate with. I think 1 lakh is a 100,000 NPRs is the starting uh, uh, someone can do, small the
But
amount
we can say
someone can
thousand
start.
to $1,500.
Yeah, I guess. So if you really want to, like, if a really nice if someone can afford, then you can go above 200 thousand,
But base should be
but
around $1,000.
mhm. Starting would be like, you have one from OpenBCI as well.
Mhm.
I think that's a very supportive community for developers. So you have many developers working on it. So you have some kind of a community. I would say if anyone is starting from scratch or starting like very fresh, they can actually start with OpenBCI headsets. And
Mhm.
then when you reach certain pro level, you can go with the G-Tech.
Sure, sure, sure. As a user or as a student, what I would like to know is, like, how do I save or how do I prepare myself in
Okay.
terms of getting those type of research in Japan or any other developed nations or any other profound robotics institute? Like what should be
Yeah.
my method and how do I approach this situation primarily?
Okay. So basically, uh, these kind of opportunities, they have this MOUs between universities, where they have partner universities, especially to have exchange students, research exchange students, and some universities do it just for the cultural exchange, where and some do it for the research exchange, you know, where one university has better resources and better understanding of certain topic for the student to pursue and complete his dissertation or thesis. So basically, I think if anyone, any student wants to approach any, not just University of Tokyo, I would say any Japanese university or any university of their choice, I would say that they need to have a very strong research proposal. You know, you need to have a plan, what the clear plans on what research you want to do and how you're going to execute it, and why what that university's lab, that particular department's lab's going to be useful for you, and how you're going to be able to contribute to that, you know. So I would say the starting point for anyone would be having a clear and a very strong research proposal. I think that's the best way to start. The second would be having a very strong academic reference, you know, whether it can be your professors or deans or, you know, of your university. So I think, and some universities are very orthodox, and they heavily rely upon these kind of academic references, you know, and whereas other universities are professors from the other universities are very flexible, and they are very open to accept emails, personal emails, or now we have LinkedIn. So we have so many professors from all over the world, and you can try to reach them through those kind of platforms. Of course, the key is to never forget to be professional when you're approaching those people. I think these are some of the ways anyone can begin.
Yeah, that's anyways, they are just on a label like we cannot just email or message them frequently. They have their own works, and so I guess
Yeah.
cold emails, right? What you're talking about, writing
Come again?
cold emails to professor, cold emails. That's
Okay.
okay. That's the way like we approach to professors, and it's
Yeah.
like our interest and their interest aligns. So
Yeah.
and yeah, as of now, we have gone through your work and how BCI systems work, how students will perform. Now, I would like to
Yeah.
know about like what's the job role what you're currently working at in Naval, and how
Okay.
it's helping everyone. That's a new ways to know.
Okay. So basically, at Enable Nepal,
Mhm.
uh, we develop a lot of prosthetic hands for amputee kids from 6 years to 16 years old. So right now we have kinetic hands and cure hands, which are basically you just have wires, strings attached to them, and they're purely 3D printed and customizable as per user needs. And my job as the head of department of bionics in Enable Nepal is to make a shift to robotic hands purely. So basically, instead of just pure raw mechanical grasping and releasing task, I'm researching about how we can make it purely robotic, how to make it intuitive, uh, you know, for those kids. When you're using robotic hand, you can do a lot of things with the sensors, the actuators, like very strong motors, and combine different technologies like IoT, uh, IoT or computer vision, and everything can come together. And right now, as I'm working on it, I also found out that these kids who get these prosthetic hands, the normal ones, um, they tend to, they use it, but they tend to just leave it, somewhere. They'll wear it in the pressures of the society, like it looks like a normal human hand, very realistic, but you know, uh, they have to work a lot on like the balance of gripping and releasing it. So I had the first-hand experience that these kids, they didn't find it quite convenient
Mhm.
to wear those prosthetic hands. Besides the being some kind of mixing in with the society or stuff, whatever. So I want to make it, since they're kids, I'm kind of trying to put myself into their shoes and kind of thinking what way a robotic hand, something that they're proud of, something it's cool, something it's fun for them, something that is actually useful or maybe even surpass the daily tasks, so that's what I'm mostly concerned about. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm actively looking for people because we're kind of needing because we kind of need some really good designers. Someone who
I
can
guess
work
there are a few
in.
designs, right, in the market, like this company, Open Bionics,
Yeah,
they have made their design
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. We have those. Yeah.
uh,
The thing with Open Bionics is that,
it's
as I
expensive.
mentioned, kids are they're kids. At the end of the day, they're kids, so they don't really like it, and
Mhm.
they want something cool. They want something fascinating. And yeah, Open Bionics, as you said, we use a lot of open source hands that they're already available. But as I mentioned, kids, they're kids, so they're very volatile with their preferences, and maybe what my short-term goal is to bring a kid, and of course we can, put in all the technology into that hand, but at the end of the day, they're kids and they really want the aesthetic on their own preference,
Yes, it's lights
and
and musics.
yeah, sorry.
Lights and musics in the Bionic.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm just saying, like, because those kids, every kid they're kids, so they're just gonna have different design needs,
Mhm.
So in that way, and it's just me, so I'm having a very hard time designing, every hand that every kid wants. Um, I tried to make it like a more like a universal, like uh, this design, and maybe the kids will love it. But as I said, it's very difficult. It's a challenge, really. So the tech we can keep, and everything from machine learning, AI. We can put all the cool stuffs like you mentioned, lights and music. But at the end of the day, they need some kind of aesthetic uh, demands.
Mhm. And how much does it cost to have 1 unit of your Bionic arm?
Currently we're funded,
Mhm.
so basically we're purely using 3D printers
Mhm.
to design our stuff. So it's just the cost of the 3D printers and refilling the those printers. So we don't have and for the electronics part, we're also getting funds. So I would say approximately a unit of bionic hand, very practically speaking, would come around from anywhere from five 5,000 or 10,000. It should be in that range.
Okay.
So that's my, yeah.
That's really cost effective also based upon what we
But
are market.
yeah, yeah. But most of the time, what we are doing is for the amputee kids who we usually just donate them. We make it and we just usually donate those because the kids, they don't really come from very privileged backgrounds. So as a human being, we just feel the need to, if we can, we just we just mostly give those away in donations, and we sustain. Hello? So we just sustain based on the projects and the project fundings, basically.
Mhm.
That's how we've sustained and maintained some kind of structure in the organization.
One more thing that's coming in my mind is like there is this company called Dexan Robotics based in France. I have explored that. It's from Rob Knight, and what they do is they come up with open source design. So they have
Yeah,
like a full-fledged of robotic hand, or you can say bionic hand, from here to
yeah,
here, and from this part also they have it, and they have made it open source. So we can just explore it
yeah.
there also.
Yeah, we're thinking about those. We have many open source uh, uh, bionic hands that we are looking at and trying to customize it and tweak it, uh, those kind of things. And more than just as you mentioned, there are many open sourced uh, uh, bionic hands, but as a robotics engineer, part of the part of the job is to also have a control mechanism into it, you know and it's just my idea, but I'm not sure how feasible it's going to be. So basically we have this thing called deep reinforcement learning. It's mostly any robotics engineer would know about this. So we're shifting from our classical uh, control to now moving to deep RL and new ventures into it. So currently my idea uh, to develop is basically using deep reinforcement learning and sorry. Basically, we have these kids. They use their bionic hand to ride a cycle, maybe uh, riding a bike. Actually, that's most of the kids that get the hands, and they immediately go into riding bikes, and they thrill to do it. And what my idea is to use deep reinforcement learning to, in a way, to balance,
Mhm.
the have a balanced mechanism on the hands, uh, so
Sure,
that they
sure.
can ride the bikes efficiently.
And one more thing, what's coming in my mind, like, can we align our brain signals with the bionic arm? So, like,
Yeah,
likewise, your master's thesis, you have controlled the
yeah,
manipulator with the brain signals. So,
yeah.
can that be done in this part?
It can be done,
Mhm.
uh, but the my approach in my master's thesis would be super difficult to achieve in a real life practical situation. But the most practical approach would be, as I mentioned before,
Mhm.
the flickering on icons on the screen.
Mhm.
We can definitely use those. It's gonna take some tweaks to make it very portable. But I think that's the most we can use, very applicable to use it. Especially, I think, yeah, definitely for the bionic hands, we can do that approach. But mostly, the approach that I just mentioned, using the flickering screens and choosing the options, and many hospitals are doing it. Many rehabilitation centers are doing it for people who are virtually paralyzed.
Mhm.
Um, so it's been a great, aid for those people, and they can use it, and they can communicate with their wheelchairs or they have these hospital beds that have actuators, and and they can use those tech. Is the most practical way to do it.
Mhm. And are you excited about like what are the projects you are excited, like very, very excited? Okay, it's coming in the future and it'll be challenging. Is there anything you're up to?
Like I mentioned, I'm exploring quite a bit of projects, exciting projects. One was about cube satellites,
Mhm.
and the other is bionic hands itself. Uh, but I'm actually moving towards the muscular sensors for the bionic hands instead of the brain-computer interface. The brain-computer interface or brain-machine interface is definitely my long-term or my main interest, research interest is that. But I'm actually really excited about cube satellites right now. That's on the list right now that we're gonna make and soon gonna release it.
Amazing. And what advice you will give to young aspirants who are like seeing themselves as a
Yeah.
mechatronics engineer, as a robotics engineer, or precisely we can say
Yeah.
those who are looking in the prospect of brain and machine thing. So, what do you suggest to them
So, in terms of mechatronics or in terms of
in terms of
uh,
mechatronics and robotics? We can say.
so mechatronics, it gives you it's the best of uh, all three worlds. I would like to express. It's the best of mechanical, best of electronics, and best of computer science. All accumulated in one spot. So, and when you become a mechatronics engineer, you get to work in a very varied fields of that may it could be your interest to pursue some field, but maybe in the future something trends, and job wise, career wise, and you can make that shift really easily because mechatronics gives you that freedom to choose. If I want to, I can just go into doing space tech, or I can just do a programming job, software engineering job, or I can do like an electronics job, PCB designing jobs, embedded design jobs. I can become a consultant in technology. I can do anything. So mechatronics gives you that flexibility to do whatever you want to do. And like I said, like brain machine interface is just I would say it's a project. Instead of saying it's a entire field. Of course, it's a field of neuroscience and technology coming together. But it was a field of my choice that I wanted to. It was a project that I wanted to do. So anyone with a mechatronics degree can choose whatever project. It can be as cool as controlling your robot with mind stuff, or it can be anything. So I would say that come with an open mind when you join mechatronics and be flexible and to do any kind of project and it prepares you to do any kind of project in the future.
Yeah, I guess that's the end of our podcast today. Thank you very much for your valuable time and your valuable suggestions. It was very profound from what we know. Like we started with your journey from Nepal, and then we switched to your work at Tokyo and how this machine interface works with the brain and what are the challenges there. Thank you very much. And this is our session today on brain in human machine interface with Sunny Raj Shrestha. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you, everyone.
Sure.